The views and opinions expressed on any program are those of the producers and/or the persons appearing on the program and do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of FRC Media, Bristol Community College, or the City of Fall River.
Welcome to Spindle City Straight Talk. I'm Chip.
And I'm CJ.
And it is Wednesday in the Riv. And
After a city council meeting.
After a council, we got some...
Which was uneventful, by the way.
Well, it was eventful in one way. We're going to hit that at the top because we got a lot of stuff to talk about. But first, let me say I did get a report of somebody putting online, it might have been 30 shots.
It wasn't.
And it was fireworks.
It was fireworks.
But so then I confirmed that just as I was coming back up here. But it just goes to show that, Paulie says the city's so safe, but what's the first thing that pops into people's minds when they hear things going off?
I know.
Shots.
Yeah.
Shots. But to get to the council meeting, I don't know, did they stop at the pot shop on the way down there and get high when they go down there? I mean, I'm serious, they have no grasp of reality.
I understand.
Linda Pereira is starting again with the tourism director. Yep. I want this because we show all the entertainment. What entertainment do we have in Fall River? What entertainment do you have?
Well, we've got the Narrows.
Yeah.
Where they have regular concerts.
Yeah, but I mean, you're going to go there rather than P-PAC or someplace in Providence,
right,
or Newport where they got Theater by the Sea up there and stuff like that, and a whole bunch of other things. Listen, they got somebody that they want to give a job to. That's what this is about.
Right.
Listen, we've said this a million times on this show. Listen to me, Linda. Tourism doesn't fix anything. And I'll give you two reasons, or two examples. Atlantic City and Miami, Florida.
Yeah.
Atlantic City was the major mecca on the East Coast for gambling. They made billions upon billions of dollars, and everything around Atlantic City was a ghetto because they never reinvested any money in their community. And they had a reason to have a ton of tourists. Likewise, Miami. Miami, one of the ¡1 tourist destinations in the United States, South Beach.
Still is.
Collins Avenue. Mm-hmm. Right? Fontainebleau Hotel where Jazel stayed, the Fontainebleau, yeah, and all the rest of those hotels. They made billions of dollars on tourism. And Miami had one of the highest crime rates in the United States. The city was a disaster. It took a new mayor, who was a Republican, I believe, to take over the city of Miami and begin to pay attention to the people and the crime rate and reinvesting in his own community to fix Miami. Tourism directors, another job for you to give out. One of your friends, you got one of your friends in mind, you're gonna raffle it off. Tourism director. Maybe somebody should give you people a map and show you where Fall River is. You're between Newport and Cape Cod. You're only about 15 minutes from Newport. So you're gonna come to Fall River and go down to the Arts thing, and they have what, one thing a night, or if they have it even every night. It's not every day. There's not constant entertainment. You can go to Newport. You got the 12-mile drive. You got the mansions. You got the Tennis Hall of Fame. You got Cliff Walk. You got all kinds of stuff. You got Brick Alley. You got a ton of stuff. 15 minutes away, and a bunch of hotels. We don't even have we got one lousy hotel in Fall River. You people are all high. I swear to God, you're all stopping at the pot shop before you go to the city council meeting. You're all delusionary.
Well, one of the reasons why I think Linda is focusing so much on that tourist director is, number one, it's been a long-standing desire of hers to have a tourist director in Fall River. But they've brought up on several occasions when they've spoken about this that New Bedford has a tourist director.
Yeah.
But New Bedford has a reason to have a tourist director.
Well, I mean, New
They're the
Bedford-
gateway to the islands.
And not only
Okay.
that, they're a worldwide city that's Moby Dick.
I know.
Moby Dick.
Yeah. The Whaling Museum, they have a theater. They have the Zeiterion.
Zeiterion, that's right.
Okay? And they have another theater which is in shambles, but I mean, people are talking about redoing it instead of the mayor talking about making the Bank Street Armory into market rate housing.
Well, that's all they do.
There went the event center. Remember the event center that was planned? Well,
yeah.
not anymore. Now we're going to talk about market rate
That's
housing
all
again.
we do talk about. Yeah,
That's
you're
right. So, would a tourist director benefit Fall River? I seriously doubt it. Do I think it would increase awareness of Fall River? I think it would bring to light a lot of its negatives. And I think that we need to focus on the fact that until we have in place a good infrastructure for, and tourism isn't just entertainment. Remember that, people. It's not just entertainment. It's just, tourism is to be sure that you have places to go, things to do. Okay? Tourism can be shopping. Just look at Boston. You go to Chestnut Hill in Boston, that's shopping and professional offices. You go to Newton Street, it's, you know, it's all shopping. It's high-end shopping.
Yeah, well,
and
with high-end money available.
Exactly. So we've got to have things like that. We don't have that here in Fall River. We get a pop-up market once a month over on Old 2nd Street, but that's not going to cut it. We need to have things like Quincy Market. Quincy Market, look at that, Quincy Market. Yeah. Now there's something to do. It's food, it's souvenirs, it's everything. We don't have that. We have one pop-up shop from Viva Fall River downtown. Okay, our downtown looks a mess, and there's nothing there. So why do people want to come to Fall River? Do you know that the people who used to live in Fall River don't even want to come back to Fall River?
Yeah, you're right. But you know, you're giving us an inordinate amount of time, which is ridiculous because look, the bottom line is they're all delusionary and they're all high. Because look at what's happened to tourism in communities that actually did have tourism and now don't have it because their city's deteriorated. It's crime infested, and they've become crap. New York City, tourism is that it's tanked.
Somebody's pushed in front of the trains.
You get pushed in front of a train. San Francisco, one of the crown jewels.
People
of
defecate
tourism.
on you.
Now you got to wade through urine and feces to go anywhere and maybe get mugged or rolled or begged. People are begging for their This is manure. Fall River's #1 in crime, 335th in education. People aren't going to move here. You're between Newport and Cape Cod, where you can walk fairly safely. And you want to listen. I've traveled a lot to places, and they don't have tourism directors in these places. But you know what they have? You go into a hotel because they have hotels, and they actually do attract tourists to do great. And what do they have? They have all those little brochures.
And they have concierge.
And they have concierge, and they have brochures
Yep.
of all the things available in the community.
And we used to have one of those on the highway,
Yep.
if you remember.
Yep.
There was a
Well, listen, tourism is the last place we should be looking because tourism doesn't fix a damn thing. Even if we did have tourism, Linda, it's not going to fix anything. It didn't fix it in Miami. It didn't fix it in Atlantic City. It's not fixing it in San Francisco, and it's not fixing it in New York City anymore. When you have a city that everybody's afraid to go to, they're not coming. And it's not going to help anyway, because the only time tourism or anything helps is when you reinvest in the community. And it's people, the people of the community, not in feel-good you know, la-la stuff, because I got a list here of the Bristol County Opera funding overview. Let's see. City of Fall River, $2 million for youth initiatives. City DCU, water infrastructure, solar flashing lights, blue water project, dispatch. Okay, that's okay. Street sweepers. We don't even have. What do you got? One driver? We're gonna have 10 sweep.
3 sweeps.
Bioreserve Discovery Center, graffiti removal. I'm looking at this total, $12,768,902. There's not one freaking penny in here to relieve the tax burden, to relieve the rent burden, to help the people who are actually paying all these bills in this city. Nothing. A total disregard for the people of Fall River and the parents. Youth initiatives, like you said on the last show, youth initiatives, they aren't worth a damn if they're living in the back of a Chevy.
That's right. That's right.
Oh, wait a minute, Chevy's too high end. There's still got Yugos around?
Yeah.
Maybe the back of a Yugo. Because this is, you know, they make me, I'm telling you, they're making me physically, this council, except for Michelle Dion, they gotta go. We gotta wipe out about half of this council because they are living in Newton. They're not living in Fall River. They're living in Newton. This is nuts. And all they do, and let me tell you something, it's not only the fact that they've wanted this for a long time for whatever reason, but it serves as a deflection and a distraction from the fact that we are #1 in crime, that people, when they hear fireworks, thinks it's gunfire. So they think it's gunfire. So the city doesn't think we have a crime problem. The fact that we're 335th in education, which segues me, you know, I'm looking at this thing, money that we went on this last show.
We talked about it lightly, yes.
But, you know, it segues me into what happened at the school committee meeting. See, this is what they like to do, deflect things. Oh, you know, pipes and this and that, and oh, you know, a beautiful school, it's going to fix everything. Tourism's going to fix everything. Everything's going to fix Fall River. But never reinvest in your own people.
That's right.
Never give them a tax break. Never let them have any money. School committee meeting. Our illustrious mayor wanted to suppress written input.
Yes, he did.
And what happened? You sent a letter. I sent a letter. They were read, and they were fairly right to the point, impactful. And then Colin Dyers and Nelson Vasquez made a presentation. And after they talked a little bit, Nelson Vasquez got into the statistics on the schools. And there was a hush. Everybody's like, oh, we don't want to talk about this.
That's
and they're
right.
all nodding their heads. If you look at them, all the harp seals were going, because they couldn't deny it.
Right.
But they never talk about it.
Exactly.
You think the school committee would actually say, you know, we are in the, we're like in the top 20 of the bottom.
Right.
And you think this is an issue for a school committee? They never. Nelson Vasquez brought it to the forefront. And I was told that he was actually thanked by a teacher for bringing it up. Thanked for bringing it up. And you know what I believe he said it in his presentation. There are no more excuses for them. Paul Coogan, by his own admission, considers it a big major victory for him and education. You meet net school spending. So we got all the money we need, right?
That's right.
We got a brand new building. We're going to have brand new pipes.
Brand new lights, too.
Brand new lights, brand new pipes, brand new graffiti machines to take
Yep.
it off the walls, you name it. We got everything except an educational system that's performing. 335th out of 351 cities and towns. Do the math, people. If you're a parent of someone that is being educated in the city of Fall River, you should be enraged, irate by the fact that the school committee never ever talks about these statistics. You never see a program to improve educational attainment. We said when we opposed the debt override for Durfee that buildings do not educate children, so I guess we've confirmed that we were right again on.
Yep.
It doesn't educate your children. Pipes don't educate your children. Electric school buses don't educate your children. All the window dressing you put on to hide it, and you deflect it because you talk about all this stuff like, oh, look at this. This building is going to improve education. You could teach somebody in a tent. If you're teaching them something, they'll learn.
Abraham Lincoln in a log
Lincoln
cabin.
taught himself in a log cabin
That's right.
by candlelight.
That's right.
So don't give me this crap. This administration, which is ironically run by a career educator or pseudo-educator, I guess if you really want to look at performance, if we rate him on merit, he gets a 0 because he's been involved forever, his entire his adult life. He's been in the system. He wasn't a teacher, though. I don't think he ever taught a day in a classroom.
I think he was always a guidance counselor.
Yeah, I don't think he ever taught. I was told by somebody, but that name may not be accurate, but it's irrelevant anyway. Spent a career there, was a school committeeman for a couple of terms, and now he's the chief. He is the
Chairman of the board.
chairman of the board, sorry, chief executive officer of the city, but chairman of the board of the school committee and the CEO of the city. You think he would be disturbed by the fact that that great edifice to politics that he built on Ellsbury Street is not educating the children?
Which they show off for every announcement, every event. It's all shown off at that school. And now another question that came up recently, which was presented to me, was, what are they doing with the Nagel Auditorium? It's just sitting there. They haven't done anything with it. Remember that was supposed to become an event center, another event center. Another event center for Fall River. Remember that?
Maybe we can have an event director for the Nagel Auditorium.
Maybe
with another job.
Maybe it's time
they
for
can
that.
do that.
Yeah.
They're really good at that.
Yeah.
But you're right. What do? They don't, they love to show that school off. And they all come in, and the politicians. Do they tell them, what they should do is have a banner over the podium that these politicians are yammering from that says, we're 335th. We're 335th.
Oh, I thought you wanted to put a sign that said BS spoken here.
Yeah. Well, that's what it should be. Because what do you think those people would do if some reporter that's not a political hack would say, oh, by the way, Senator Warren, what do you think about the fact that this beautiful building and all this money is being invested and you're trying to tie it to education, yet this is one of the worst performing schools in the state of Massachusetts? Not only this school, but the entire educational system of this community is one of the worst in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. We are at the bottom of educating our children and at the top of crime. Do you still want to make your speech?
Do you see the correlation?
Yeah.
Do you see the correlation?
Oh,
Education results in lower crime rates.
That's
okay?
right.
Poor performing schools, increased crime rates. Something's got to give.
Well, I guess we're proving that theory is correct.
Yeah, I mean something's got to give. It really has got to give because it's not getting any better for my kids, my grandkids. Your grandchildren. Well, your granddaughter just left the school system, right?
Yep, she's in college now.
Good
She's
for her.
a freshman in college. So.
Good for her. I mean, she made it. She made it.
Well, in spite of this education.
That's what I'm saying. She made it.
Yeah, look, we always have those people who are motivated.
Yes.
She took all, advanced AP courses and stuff like that because obviously her father he's a doctor.
Right.
And her mother's got a degree, and the thing is that you come from an environment that is pro-education. You're going to have, we do have a lot of high-performing students in Durfee. But again, where are those students normally from? The higher income levels.
Right.
You know, they don't come from the educational system. That's the home. See, an educational system is supposed to take these students who don't have the benefit of college-educated parents who are invested in education to help them with their homework. They may be too busy working 2 or 3 jobs to pay their rent or pay their mortgage and pay their bills facing a winter like this where heat's going to go up and electricity is going to go up and people can't afford anything. These are the children that have potential, and there is nothing worse than unfulfilled potential. I think that speech at the end of that movie with he played an Army colonel, and he made that famous speech about there's nothing worse than an amputated spirit. And you know, potential. There are many kids from that 81.7% that are poor that could become great if they had the opportunity and were educated. That's why schools exist, to allow them the opportunity to be the best they can be. And we are not doing that, and that is a travesty.
And you know, this is why you have people who no longer have children in the school system say, why should I pay for this school system? Why should my tax dollars go towards this school system? Because the kids aren't getting anything. They're not getting anything. And if they're not getting anything, why should I be investing? That's throwing money away. I mean, if you're given an investment, yeah, you can invest here. I guarantee you'll get money in 10 years. You'll have double your money, and in 10 years you owe them twice as much. Great investment. That's how these people are looking at our school system.
And they're right. But what they don't, but you have to be a pragmatist, and you have to look at it in reality. Look at what we have. Education reform was the worst thing that ever happened to this state. Guaranteed money, and no emphasis on merit.
Right.
It is not a meritocracy. It's a giant cesspool of patronage and fat paychecks for not doing anything. But what they don't understand is they're upset. But why is that so? What's the largest department in every city and town in any state? The school department.
The school department.
There are towns that are so small, they got like Mayberry with 2 cops. They got Andy Griffith and
Bonnie Fife.
And Bonnie Fife. Mm-hmm. But they have more teachers because
Right.
they have an elementary school, they have a secondary school, they have high school. But in every city in town, even major cities that have like large fire departments, large police departments, they are overwhelmed by the teachers. The teachers have a very powerful, and educators have a very powerful lobby.
Yes, they do.
And a lot of money. This is why that's why they were given autonomy. That's why now they're allowed to operate with no control. Just look at Fall River. And I know a lot of teachers about they're good. They're trying to do what they can. But obviously, like that teacher who thanked Nelson for bringing those stats up is concerned about the fact that he can't get done what he wants to get done.
That's
he or
right.
she, I don't know which it was. But, the reality is, for example, the most they ever had on a Fall River Fire Department was 300. Now they're down to below 200, I think. Police department's a couple of hundred. There are 900 teachers, just teachers.
Right.
Not
including staff and
not including administration,
Yep.
and that's not counting all the suits and with the big paying jobs and the deans of students and all the other decorative ornaments they have hanging around that system. And and that's the problem, because I got no problem investing in education. See, because I know the next thing, you guys are anti-education.
No, we're not. We never have been.
You got a PhD.
Yep.
But both of my children have graduate degrees.
Yep.
I'm the most pro-education person you can be, but I'll tell you what, if I would have sent my kids to school and they didn't work and flunked out, they'd be, I don't know, they'd be working, slinging hamburgers at McDonald's because they didn't do it. But I invested, and that investment was predicated on them performing.
Right.
They had to get the grades.
But you see, that's why your children performed. There was a quid pro quo.
Yeah.
Okay? You do this, we get this. You do this, you get this.
Yeah.
And so they earned their education by working for it. It wasn't handed to them. And when I see meetings like I saw on Monday with the school committee arguing about how much overtime they're going to pay people who are salaried, administrators who are salaried, stipends to do other projects
Yeah. Well, it's just
covered by a grant.
all about money.
It's all about
they
the
get
money.
it, spend it. Didn't Kevin Aguirre complain about $18,000?
Yes, he did. He was complaining about $18,000
So
for a
good for him. But the problem is, this is all about them and their paychecks and their money. This is not about education, because you never heard anybody until Nelson said that even acknowledge the fact that this system is a disaster. We are
And-
an unmitigated disaster.
And even after he did that, they all shut up about it. Nobody
Yeah.
mentioned it. Nobody mentioned it at all.
Yeah,
And
crickets.
that's sad. Yeah, it was all crickets, all crickets. And, you know, that's sad. But you know, like I said, Kevin Aguirre, $18,000. They're running a program which is supposed to streamline all their information, all the school committee meetings, all the minutes, all the programs, everything going on, and they don't use it. They were trained to use it, but they don't use it, and they're still paying for it. Kevin says, why are we throwing it away? It's only $18,000. It's not a lot of money in our budget, but it's $18,000. Why are we throwing it away?
Yeah, I guess.
Now all of a sudden they're talking about, oh, well, we're going to start to use it, and we've got now this new
boom.
education program that's coming out, and we're going to be part of it, and now all of a sudden everything's going to work out okay.
I'm going to implement the Terry
Yeah.
Sullivan. We'll talk about it, pretend, and then they'll forget about it. And then-
Exactly.
and next year, when somebody brings it up again, we'll do the same. Oh, we're going to start to use it right now.
Exactly.
You know, that's the problem. Everything should be based on merit, on performance. You know, it's like Pavlov's dog. You know, opera conditioning. You know, positive and negative behavior, reinforcements, etc. You can't continue to dump money into a system. And you're right. That's why people are infuriated. Parents should be infuriated because their kids are not getting the opportunity to maximize their potential. And the people who don't have children in the system anymore are furious because they're throwing money into a toilet and flushing it. We're not doing anything. If we were spending that money and we were in a top 20, I'd say, okay, I'm not gonna complain much. I still don't believe in deans as students for,
Neither do I.
for adolescents.
Right.
But the reality is, I'm not going to complain about dumping that money into school teachers, into programs to educate our children, but you can be damn well sure that I'm going to complain when we're dumping this kind of money and giving overtime to salaried people, because salaried people don't get overtime.
That's right.
But they do if they work in a school department, don't they?
It works that way.
It's your tax dollars.
Well, I want
And
to
a
address
grant is still your tax dollar.
Yes, it
It's just
is.
coming from a different source. that's all.
different funding source. I want to address a few issues because I've been stopped on the street because it's now pretty public. On Saturday, my aunt Teresa Costa, passed away. My aunt Teresa worked for the Fall River Public School System for many years as a bilingual educator, and Chip knows her. He saved her life, and she said her goodbyes to her family, and she peacefully went. Her funeral mass will be this Saturday at St. Mary's Cathedral at 11 a.m., but she's being buried at the Bourne National Cemetery tomorrow morning. I want to thank you all for your condolences and your good wishes and your prayers, and please remember, keep your family members close, because you never know if today's the last day. I want to thank you all for watching, and remember, stay safe, stay angry, and hold your politicians accountable. We'll see you on Friday.